What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Bronx Pinstripe Show. We're recording this Friday morning after the Minnesota Twins series. Scott, oops. Oopsies.
Don't do it. No, we didn't. No.
Maybe we jinxed. I don't know. I got a lot of people in my mentions being like, did you guys seriously put out an episode about how good the Yankees rotation has been? And then this is the worst 3 consecutive starts that they've had all season.
Well, it's not a kibosh. There's no way. It's just impossible for that to happen because it doesn't happen that way. It's not real life. That's not real life. No. So I'm putting my foot down here and saying that we've been doing this for too goddamn long to be talking about jinxes on this podcast. We record twice a week, if not 3 times a week. This is our 3rd recording of the week. No. We've been doing this for 19 years. No, it doesn't work that way.
So you don't believe in jinxes? Like, you don't believe in jinxing a no-hitter?
Oh, I absolutely believe in jinxes. There's no doubt about it. But I'm not.
So then, how is this not? How is this not a jinx then?
Because there was already one bad start by the time we had put this out.
That's true.
So it had already started. It's not like we started. Jinxes have to start somewhere, and we were just in the middle of it. You know, we were just in the middle of the thing going a little weird. And
we were innocent bystanders.
Innocent bystanders, very coincidental, and also Minnesota. You know, like weird things happen when we go to Minnesota and when we play the Twins.
I tweeted that. I said that last night. I was like, the Yankees and the Twins play some weird ass games. And luckily the Yankees usually come out on top, but a lot of bizarre games happen. And I feel like a lot of especially bizarre games at whatever was that, Target Field. But like even in the playoffs against the Twins, dating back to 2009, that 2009 playoff series, super weird games against the Twins for whatever reason.
Yeah, so it's fine, man. It's all good. We didn't do anything.
We're Gucci.
Look, did you see what happened? Did you see what happened after Garrett Cole left the game? They were flawless.
Flashbacks to that 2019 game, the Hicks game, which I guess I don't know. Maybe Hicks just needs to play the Twins, and then he can start to perform. He needs to play his former team. But eerily similar vibes to that 2019, I think it was an 11-10 game or something crazy like that, where Hicks makes the diving catch at the end. But Hicks also had a big home run in that game late in the game to give the Yankees either a tie game or a lead, as he did last night. And amazingly, I saw this last night when Hicks hit that home run. That was only his 3rd extra base hit of the year.
Yeah. No, I know.
That's freaking ridiculous.
It is. Who knows? Maybe he's catching something here, and that's a good thing. I mean, look at Gallo too. Gallo going yard twice
deep
in one
on
game. Yeah,
one.
I mean, when that guy connects with the ball, it goes a long way. He's a big human being. So good. I hope that's look. I hope Gallo specifically. I haven't been killing Hicks as much, but Gallo, I hope he makes me look like a fool. I hope he makes me look stupid. I really do, because if he does, that means he's playing well and the Yankees are going well. And at the end of the day, that's what I'm looking for. And let me tell you something about this series, which I love, and it kind of reiterates some of the points that we've brought up in the past. This team, when one of the portions, I'll break them into 3s. When the starting pitching, the offense, and the bullpen, when one of those is not going, so far this season, the other has been picking them up. And this entire series, that happened. This is the worst series that we've seen in the starting pitching of the year, I'd say, right? And unless you go back to Baltimore, the first Baltimore series that we lost. But this one felt worse. But what happened was we still won the series. They still took 2 of 3. And they had no business taking 2 of 3. Garrett Cole let up 3 home runs back to back to back and belly to belly, baby, to start a friggin' game. And I did not feel like they were going to lose that game, even in that moment. For whatever reason, it just felt like Cole was trolling the little Twins. And
I don't know.
You know what? They came back, and when Dylan Bundy's on the mound, we're going to hit the ball. It's going to happen. And they did. And the bullpen came in and shut the game down, and the offense did what they needed to do. And the Twins did what they needed to do. Pop flies falling in the infield, and then Aaron Hicks going deep on that ball. So I just have a lot of confidence across the board with this team that if somebody or one area of this squad is not going right, that another one is going to pick it up, because that's what we've seen all year so far. And I absolutely love it. And you know what that is? That is a very, very telling quality of a team that can certainly go deep in the playoffs.
Absolutely. Each unit of the team, those units that you described, they're all good. They all are capable units. Maybe maybe like the East, they've had struggles for certain players within those units, but they're all capable of carrying the team for a certain period of time. And the offense obviously had to score last night, and they picked up Cole. You said you were confident that the Yankees weren't going to lose that game. Like I was hoping that first inning from Garrett Cole, where he had nothing, and I mean nothing. Flaherty actually did a good job. I know a lot of people hate Flaherty on the broadcast, but he very clearly described, like, Cole has tried his changeup, that got hit out of the park. Cole has tried his cutter, that got hit out of the park. He's tried his knuckle curveball. It was like neck high, not even close to a strike. Like, everything was either out of the strike zone or a meatball in the middle of the plate. I was hoping this was just one of those weird, didn't have it in the first inning starts. But then when he gave up that 3-run jack the next inning, I was like, oh boy, I don't know about this. Like, that really shocked me. Almost, I don't know if it shocked me more than the back-to-back-to-back, because it's only happened like 6 times in the history of Major League Baseball. Like, it never happens to start a game. But when he gave up that 3-run jack, I was like, oh boy, I don't know about this game.
You know, talking about Flaherty, he brought up a really good story that I thought was he does have good stories if he could just let them out more. But he told that story about Mussina, where he was catching Mussina on a day and he had nothing, and he invented a split finger fastball that he had never thrown before. He's like, if you throw the hook 'em horn sign, is what he said. I'm throwing the split finger fastball. He's like, you don't have a split finger fastball. Well, today I do. And I love that story because that's what you see. But that's what you see with professionals. These guys, I guarantee Maddox did that a whole bunch of times too. Andy Pettitte probably did. El Duque invented 19 pitches probably on a given day. These guys just change the grips around when they realize that they're not going to throw off the batters. And if they can, repeat that arm slot and get something that feels good, then you can kind of make something up on the spot. But I thought it was a fun story because it just kind of shows how the ball can be manipulated so easily in a given in a given time frame. And these guys are so good with knowing, what they're how they're throwing it and where their arm slot is, that they can kind of just tweak things on the spot.
Are you confident that Cole's that guy that can invent on the fly? Because I don't know if I am.
I'm not, because there's just been a few times. I'm not going to overreact to Garrett Cole giving this up, but I just don't like how he has these throwaway games. I really don't like how he has these throwaway games. Just absolutely abysmal throwaway games too. The other day I tweeted when Jameson Taillon.
You need more compete factor. You need a little bit more battling to get
Jameson Taillon the other day did not have his good stuff. He did not have it. It was so clear. His location wasn't there. He was getting hit hard. But you know what he did is he battled through it. He worked through it. And I really liked seeing that, because to me that is the true sign of a guy that can go out there, still give you quality innings and help your team out, even if you don't have the best stuff. David Cohn talks about this all the time. Being able to compete deep into the game, even if you don't have your best stuff. That is a very telling quality of a starting pitcher that understands how to pitch and understands where his limitations lie, and just how to manipulate a given start, even if your stuff isn't good.
Mike Mussina was a guy, especially later in his career, which at this point Flaherty was probably catching him in 2005 or 2006 timeframe, right? So like definitely nearing the end of Mussina's career, didn't have his dominant stuff anymore. He probably had, when you add the wrinkle factor to each of his pitches, like 12 different pitches. So he went to a lot of different things. Cole still has the dominant stuff, so I don't think he's had to really invent on the fly to get people out, because normally his stuff just gets people out. I'm not criticizing him for that, but like last night's game, after 2 bad starts from Taillon and Cortez, and the bullpen actually had to do some work in those games, you're looking to Garrett Cole, the ace, the number 1 pitcher, to go deep in the game. That's what he's there for. That's what, like, you just hope that Boone doesn't have to think about the bullpen until the 7th inning when Garrett Cole's on the mound.
Especially in that game, especially when you have the 2 starts before where guys struggled. You need Garrett Cole to come out there and be that steady hand. You need him to be that Andy Pettitte after a loss, or CeCe after a loss. Yeah. He's got to be that guy. He's got to be that guy to bring the stability back and to right the ship. And they need to be able to depend on him for that, because The other guys in the rotation are certainly going to go through their ups and downs at some point. Like we're seeing it right now. I think that it's clearly, they've taken another step in how they perform. But Garrett Cole is that guy.
Lineup. The Twins, like we shit on the Twins, but like the Twins can hit. And this is what I was talking about a couple episodes ago. It's like the rotation has been so amazing, but this is a test this month. They're facing good lineups this month, and the Twins were a good lineup. You're not going to take a perfect game into the 7th inning against the Twins. Like, it's not easy to do.
No, they might. I mean, they might.
Didn't Kershaw? Kershaw did.
The thing is that even after Garrett Cole imploded essentially for the second time, the bullpen came in and shut them down.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Who's to say that you can't shut the Twins down? You can certainly shut the Twins down. They're the Twins at the end of the day.
A lot of people on Twitter, especially because Logan tweets from the @YankeesPodcast handles during the game. A lot of people, a lot of couch analysts just like shitting all over Cole from the start. He's not an ace. He's terrible. You can't trust him. Maybe call it overreactions. I mean, certainly that's an overreaction. But I do.
I mean, we were overreacting after the Detroit start. There's no doubt. We were overreacting because that was
at that point he had 5 starts and they were all either mediocre or bad. Okay, right. But then he's strung together a lot of good starts. Like he's been one of the top 10 pitchers in the American League this year. We're gonna do our All-Star balloting later in this episode, and I mean, spoiler, I would have put Cole on the All-Star team, and there's still a month to go, so he can definitely still rebound from the start.
Spoiler, you can't vote for pitchers in the All-Star ballot.
Yeah, well, like in my world I can. So, but what was I even saying? I do agree with certain sentiment of fans who say that they're disappointed that Cole seemingly has not been the guy to be the nut up guy, to just, the umpire didn't give me the pitch, I'm just going to strike the next batter out. The last 2 games our starters have gotten knocked out in the 5th inning. I'm going to pitch 8 innings tonight. I agree. It's a little disappointing he seemingly has not been that guy.
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot of expectations with Garrett Cole at this. When you get a contract the way you do and you slot in as that number 1 ace guy, then yeah, you're going to get this commentary. There's no doubt. There's higher expectations for him specifically than anybody else, maybe on the team. He's got the highest expectations. And when you start to see the other 4 guys in the rotation, fall in line the way that they have and pitch it the way they have, well, now you're looking at this guy as like, now you need to lead this team. You need to be different. You need to be even better than them. So the bar has been raised for Yankee fans when you look at how the rotation has gone for the first couple months of the season. And that plays into expectations.
So Logan put some stats in our chat. Hicks last 15 games, 320 batting average, 794 OPS. Most of them were singles until last night. And Gallo's last 7 games, 320 batting average, over 1,000 OPS. He's obviously going to have a higher slugging percentage, the 2 bombs last night. Out of those 2 guys, are you buying this from either of them? Because we've, like, at least with Hicks, I think we talked like a month ago, not Hicks, with Gallo, you isolate like a 15-game span. It's like, it looks pretty good. But then he went back into the depths of hell.
Yeah, no, Gallo, I don't know how to treat Gallo at this point, to be honest. I'm going to celebrate his wins when he has them because I know what's around the corner. Hicks is different to me. Hicks, I think, a couple of things from Hicks that we saw yesterday that was good in this series. Made a nice play in left field last night, nice sliding play in left field. So gaining some comfortability out there in different positions. That's a good thing. He threw a dart. I think it ended up being 98 miles per hour.
Best throw since whatever year it was. I want to say 2016 when he was clocked at 108.
119, whatever it was.
It's been 86 years since Hicks had a throw that good.
But he did. He came up firing and threw an absolute strike to home plate to cut the run down. So that was positive. Hey, that swing into when he pulled the ball. Shout out to Logan for calling that one on the show Twitter account. That was good. I gave him the salute on the main account. that was fun to see because, he does have one of the nicest little poses. He's got a sweet pose. And when I see Aaron Hicks doing that pose,
we're
that
talking
shows
about poses
me.
now. Oh yeah, he's a regular Ken Griffey Jr.
Yeah, I mean, he does try to emulate that. He does. I don't know what to tell you.
Everybody
when he hits a home run,
tried to emulate Ken Griffey
well.
Jr.
He does it pretty well. He does it pretty well. He holds it in the right spots. He's got that down when he hits one. So it was showing a little swag from him, showing a lot of confidence, and he's got the ability to be a more consistent player. We just haven't seen that from Gallo. Gallo's a different type of player. So I'm definitely more optimistic with the way Hicks is playing. And honestly, I think they need Hicks more than they need Gallo to right the ship.
Why? Any reason you say that?
Flexibility in the outfield. I think if they can get him back into center field on a more consistent basis as well, it just gives them more options.
I don't think that's their plan at this point.
It doesn't look like it, but it's June, so they're definitely putting plans into place for
I mean, at this point, last time I looked, Judge had almost as many starts in center field as right field. I'm looking it up now. He might have even more starts in center field than he does.
What Boone is doing right now is getting Hicks very comfortable in left field as well. So it's
23. Good. Judge 23 starts in center, 24 starts in right.
The point is that Gallo.
When's the last time he started in right?
But Gallo is not playing center field. No. Hicks has the ability to do that, and they don't have a guy that could play there. So to me, Hicks is the more valuable. Plus, you get that lineup to turn over more at the bottom. Hicks also, if he's going right, he's an option for a leadoff spot if he's going right. He just gives more flexibility to me in the lineup and defensively in the field. Obviously, Gallo has a lot more power, but I just don't. I expect it, once a week, once every 2 weeks. Whereas Hicks has the ability to be more consistent and be more of a dynamic baseball player.
Yeah, what they're doing in the outfield is interesting because since Stanton's come off the IL, they've only played him in right field once, and it was Wednesday night, and he had a miserable time out in right field. Made a bunch of bad plays, and also was unsure of the wall out there. Looked like he didn't do his pregame walkthrough of how many steps do I have before the wall, and it's a weird field. They were
talking about an overhang. They were talking about an overhang.
There's an overhang.
Yeah,
there is.
So
it hangs over.
I think that was messing with them too.
Yeah, it hangs over. City Field also has that.
Yeah, I can't picture it right now in my head, but there's one. It's a different type of right field.
It's a nod to the old Tiger Stadium, right, which had a little bit of an overhang. And even the old Yankee Stadium post 70s renovation, it didn't hang over the field, but in right field, the upper deck pretty much lined up with the outfield wall. So, but that was actually much higher. But Stanton had some quotes after the game about the plays. He said, "I've got to make those plays and put us in a better situation to not let the game break away from us. It wasn't my best night out there. From my perspective, I was off by a few feet and thought I was closer to the wall. Those are mistakes that can't happen. I was definitely pissed off. I hadn't had a day like that in a long time, if ever." He did look like a lost puppy out there.
That's okay. He hasn't been out there a while. He's accountable. He understands that he has to improve. He's hard on himself. I love all of those things. Forgiven in my book.
But what they're doing with the outfield,
it's so easy to get forgiven. So easy to get forgiven as a New York Yankee. Just talk about how you suck.
Hand up. I suck.
Yeah,
okay, cool. Let's move on.
It's terrible. It was unexcusable. Yeah.
Easy. We've said this a million times. It's so simple.
He's done such a good job at that too. He's owned anything that any of his struggles and just been super accountable ever since he's been here. So I give him a lot of credit.
But they are handling Stanton delicately to get him back off the IL. Gallo has been playing more right field, I think, to get him comfortable. Hicks hasn't been playing center field. So you say, oh, Hicks needs to be the guy to be more consistent so they can gain that flexibility. I don't know. It doesn't seem like they are going to use the flexibility. It seems like their outfield alignment, for the most part, is start Judge in center field, and then if you have to bring in someone to back them up, you move them over to right field. And then you have either Gallo or Stanton in right, and you have Hicks or Gallo in left. It seems like that's the plan.
It's June, man. They're going to need flexibility in the outfield, and they don't have a prototypical center fielder on that team besides Aaron Hicks. So they do need him.
What are you saying, Aaron Hicks? Aaron Hicks, I trust Judge in center more than Hicks right now.
I'm saying beyond him. My point is that I'm talking about the fact that Judge, if they don't towards the end of the season, if they're not going to be playing Judge on a daily basis in center field, who else is going to play there besides Hicks? That gives you any
LeCastro,
chance.
if LeCastro comes back.
We're depending on Tim LeCastro. Got it.
For defense.
That's exactly my point. That's why Hicks needs to be that guy. We just haven't seen it in a long time.
So you're saying if Hicks shows more consistency at the plate, they're going to start playing him in center field more?
I'm saying if Hicks shows more consistency at the plate, he gives this team more flexibility. Yes.
Okay.
And they love flexibility. This team is like a Jeep. It's like Legos. They can move people all around. They can put them in the DH. They can throw them in different spots in the field, in the lineup. It's like, that's the beautiful part about this. It gives Boone so many options to attack whatever they're going against on that given day, whether it's a tough outfield or a tough pitcher or whatever. They can, a team that throws the ball around the field, get some more speed on the base path. Like, they have the ability to actually change things to match up against their opponent very well. And a guy like Hicks just adds to that flexibility if he's going right.
Be interesting to see what they do as they
approach. It's one series, so let's not get over our skis too much.
No, but I mentioned the stats over the last week plus for these guys. Hicks actually, I think he was before last night 7 for his last 19, and he had a couple hits last night. It's just they were all singles, so I guess you don't notice it as much. But
he tried to lay a bunt down against Archer too, which I thought was interesting. He didn't leg it out, but he tried to
get on base any damn way.
He saw something and tried to lay the bunt down. Archer made a nice play.
Shift. He saw the shift is what he saw.
My point is that he saw an opportunity, and then it wasn't a terrible bunt, but Archer made a nice play and threw him out. He's working at it.
I was saying it might be interesting to see what they do at the deadline if they try and acquire someone who can play center field.
Yeah, no, that's true. That's definitely something to look at. I still think I think the offense, and LeCastro is interesting because he does give the ability for, to maximize the defense. And the offense has enough firepower where you can do that. You can sacrifice a bat to solidify the defense, especially late in the game. And they have that guy right now. So it's not necessarily a need, but so eventually I still think they're going to go with probably a bullpen piece but we'll see. So
Wednesday's game, Nestor's game, he was pretty bad. He didn't really have anything. You could see it. He was even lost on the mound. But this was, according to, I guess, some stats, the first time the Yankees have been blown out, completely out of the game. It was an 8-1 loss. I mean, they did lose 5-0 on May 22nd against the White Sox. That was game 2 of the doubleheader. But if you remember that game, they were in it late. That was Tim Anderson hit the home run late to ice that game. And then prior to that, their biggest loss prior to that came April 17th at Baltimore, a 5-0 loss. So it's we're talking about 3 times this season they've been blown out, quote unquote. But even the White Sox game, they weren't out of that game late. So Wednesday's game was pretty rare for this team.
Yeah, and we're in the middle of June. That's pretty telling to what we're doing here. This team is, and that just goes back to the fact that one of the components, one of the units on the team has been picking up the other ones when struggling. But it just also hasn't been happening that often. There haven't been that many struggles across, all 3 of these units. These guys have been pretty damn consistent. So
the offense picked up.
I love hearing that stat.
Yeah, obviously the offense picked up on Thursday night, but they also picked up on Tuesday night and they scored a bunch of runs in the 7th and 8th inning, which allowed Marinchino Cherry to just finish the game and I guess save the bullpen a little bit. Judge hit the 2-run homer in the first. Stanton followed it up, both absolute bombs. And the talk of Judge chasing Maris's 61 home runs, Yankees record, not single season record, we all know. But what's your gut feeling tell you right now? Does Judge get to 60?
If he stays healthy, he definitely has the ability to get to 60. I mean, the guy's not missing much right now. He's got that feeling. I said this a couple of weeks ago. He's just, if you're around the plate, he's going to get you. You can't make mistakes to him right now. He's going that well. So yeah, I think that, especially as the year warms up a little bit, that ball's going to fly a little bit more and you're going to see Judge hitting the ball out at probably a higher clip. So I do think he's got it in him for sure.
Mark McGwire on a documentary about the 98 home run chase, I think it was ESPN maybe, said that August always is the hardest month for a power hitter. It's hot as shit. You haven't had a day off in a while. You're not even really that close to the finish line, and you're just gassed.
Yeah.
And obviously we know why he didn't get as gassed in the 90s, and same with Sosa and everything. The steroids help with the fatigue quite a bit. They do.
Andro will help you stay energized.
But he always talked about how you progress in August, and then the home run record might be doable because September you get that bolt of energy. You're almost at the finish line, and you can just go down and chase it. It'll be, I mean, and again, like Judge isn't going to sniff 73 home runs, which is Bonds, but it could be fun if he's sniffing Maris. Like I think that could be a really fun storyline this season, and just hilarious that he's going to be a free agent.
Yeah, it's putting a lot of pressure on the Yankees at this point, to be honest.
Yeah,
putting a lot of pressure on the Yankees.
Here, Judge's agent. Oh, okay, Yankees. How much money are you going to give your starting center fielder who just broke the franchise home run record?
Yeah, who has a location in right field named after him that you guys put in.
You got to move it to center field. You're going to have to move it to center.
As a stunt, yeah, you're going to have to put it at the bar. Yeah, man, like he's putting so much pressure. The Yankees at this point, can you imagine if he does? Let's just live in that world for a second here. Yankees make a run. I'm not going to talk about where they go. Back to the jinx mode here, knocking on wood, even thinking about it. But let's say the Yankees have a very good season, and let's say Judge does hit 62 home runs. All right, just he's starting to play. He plays center field for the large majority of the season, and now he's a free agent, and the Yankees don't sign him. I don't even know how that's possible. I don't even know how that's possible, or how you could look yourself in the mirror if you're anybody in the Yankees front office and not sign Aaron Judge, the face of your franchise, the guy that just broke a home run record, got your team into a position to win, if not win, and now you're gonna dick around with a contract and compete with somebody else like a San Francisco or an Anaheim or someone on the West Coast that wants to lure him back, to Pacific time. I don't know how you could possibly look yourself in the mirror and understand the organization that you work for or own and not have that guy on your team for the rest of his career. It's impossible.
It would be the biggest non-signing in franchise history.
Oh, not even close.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And I would be super curious to see the fan reaction. I almost want to temporarily live in an alternate timeline where we can watch that happen just to see the fan reaction.
Be so ugly.
And
I don't want to see that reaction.
The absolute meltdown, and having to sit there and listen to Brian Cashman and Hal Steinbrenner try and explain why they didn't think it was a good idea to re-sign Aaron Judge. I just want to hear it, and then I want to snap my fingers and go back to the real timeline where Aaron Judge is a Yankee.
There's something wrong with you. You're a masochist. Because
what that part of me is definitely a masochist, but I want to know. I just want to know. Aren't you kind of morbidly curious to that scenario? Like, it would be fascinating. It would be fascinating.
I have seen what this team has done over the last few years, and I've seen enough of that. I don't want to see that anymore. I want to see Yankee fans be happy. I want to see us live in the positive world of rings again. I want to take this thing back to the 1990s and live in that glory. That's what I want. I don't want to even temporarily see a failure of the front office to go out and sign not only the biggest physically, but the biggest player that has come to this team since Derek Jeter. I mean, that's what this is.
Without the championships.
But again, we're living in that world, right?
I'm
living in the world that things go well.
Oh, by the way, you see Derek Jeter's on Instagram now?
Yeah, he's making all the rounds.
It's good. I can't wait for the Derek Jeter TikTok.
It's gonna be good.
It's gonna be good TikTok.
It's gonna be good.
I might have to join TikTok just to follow Derek Jeter on TikTok. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'm super curious what happens this summer with Judge. His arbitration deadline is his hearing is June 22nd. It's in 12 days. I don't know. Like, Logan,
Gary Sanchez just agreed to terms, $9 million. Good for him.
Gary, yeah. And also
let's
Ruka
talk
was
about
pointing
that.
out.
Did he hit a home run? No.
He did not, no.
Did he get a
Ruka
hit?
was pointing out. Did he get a hit? I don't think he didn't get a hit.
I don't think he got a hit.
Ruka was pointing out, though, that the metrics on Sanchez are okay.
What about the classic moment we saw at the end of the game yesterday? Spiking a ball that Gary can't get over and goes to the backstop and
that was a tough that was a tough play.
Every catcher in the league slides over, squares up, and that ball is in front of them. It was a tough play, yes, but his mobility was so bad. A major league catcher slides over and blocks that ball. He has no mobility, and I'm sitting there like, oh God, thank you. Like this is like, yes, this is exactly why I needed this guy.
I'll tell you what, Jose Trevino slides over and blocks that ball.
Oh, you're goddamn right he does. You are goddamn right he does. And you know what?
I'll tell you what. No. Jose Trevino frames that first strike.
I had all of these emotions come back to me too. And you know what? I have been on this podcast recently. I feel like I've been coming back and like seeing the other side of the whole Sonny Gray situation. Not to bring that guy up again, but I remember talking about this. Sonny Gray needs to spike. He needs to spike breaking balls. That's his game. That's always been his game. He spikes breaking balls. He lives in the bottom of that zone for him to be effective. And when you don't have the confidence to do that with a guy on third, you just don't have the confidence at all because you have no idea what's going to happen, then it changes you as a pitcher. It does. And, I feel for the entire staff that had to do that. Same thing with Britton. Britton had to live with that too. Couldn't spike a ball. If there's a guy on third base, doesn't have the confidence to do that. Now we do. Now we can see what real pitching looks like late in a game with a runner on third base. And that makes me happy. What a fucking bum.
Donald, keep that part in. Let's talk about All-Star ballots and who we're voting for, who we did vote for. I remember, so All-Star ballot came out this week. I remember as a kid getting the ballots at the stadium. Do you remember that, Scott? That was always like a fun thing. Like, oh, let's go get the ballot and freaking punch it like it's one of those Scantron tests.
Yeah. Yeah, no.
Logan's like, what the fuck are you old farts talking about?
It was like a card too. It was
Logan, did you ever physically vote for All-Stars? Like punching a card?
Zero chance. He's like, what's
what's paper and pencil? So they came out this week, and so I figured it'd be fun if each of us goes through our All-Star ballots and discuss, like, could a Yankee be at that position? Do they deserve to be at the position? What do you want to do, Scott? Should I go through my entire one, or do you want to go position by position and we alternate? Like, we'll talk about each position.
Yeah, let's go position by position because I think we have a lot of similarities in there. There's some variances, but let's go position by position and talk about it. To qualify this, the ballots just came out. It's a little early, but it's fun to do anyway and get the early.
I voted yesterday when I went through this, so my votes are cast. I voted for Jose Trevino because
you can vote 5 times in every day if you want. Can't do that with a paper ballot. Well, I guess you could.
You could. Yes, you could, Scott. He's been one of the standouts on the Yankees this first half is Jose Trevino, and what he's brought to the pitching staff. He's actually produced offensively. The emotion he has shown. He's been one of my favorite players to watch. So I'm voting for Jose Trevino.
All right, and just to qualify this is who we think should be making it or who we're voting for. This is just like personal bias. I kind of went a little both ways.
I voted yesterday, and these are the players I voted for.
Okay. Kirk, the catcher on Toronto's having a hell of a year.
Alejandro
Kirk. He's having a very good year. So when you look at statistics, he deserves a nod right now. But I'm 1,000% voting for Trevino.
Absolutely.
5 times.
First base, actually, I had Rizzo clicked because he has 14 home runs and that led all first basemen. But he has gone through a lot of struggles the last month. His OPS is under 800. I voted for Vlad Jr. and Vlad Jr.'s stats aren't really eye-popping either. But like Vlad Jr. is one of the most exciting players in the game, and like I was amazed when he hit those bombs off of Cole earlier.
But that's not what this is for. This is for guys who deserve the nod to become maybe one of the
not
better.
Just guys who deserve the nod. All-Star game.
This is an achievement.
Because the All-Star game is who you want to watch represent the league in the Midsummer Classic. That's how I've always voted for the All-Star team. I haven't just picked, who has the best statistics. I don't fucking care. I don't want to watch Ty France play first base in the All-Star game. I want to watch Vlad Jr. play.
This is the problem with the All-Star game. This is the problem with letting
This is
fans
not the
use
problem.
their goddamn
It no longer
emotions.
counts for shit. It's an exhibition.
I understand. That's what it has been like that. They tried to change it, but it's been like that for a very long time. But the All-Star game, when you look back on people's career, they get a nod for the All-Star. That's a representation of how they were playing. So if you're saying that, if you're making it a popularity contest, which is the problem with it, that's how you get guys who don't deserve being on this getting voted in because it's a popularity contest rather than the guys who deserve it. So I have a problem with that.
Vlad Jr.'s having a good year.
It can be a tiebreaker. I'm fine with that. It could be a tiebreaker. Like what you're saying right now is not egregious at all. Yeah, he definitely deserves to be in that conversation, and you could probably put but a guy like Ty France, who I voted for, is a guy that is having a very good year and deserves the nod. So that's, again, people vote in different ways. I try to be objective. This is a Yankees podcast. If we try to be, we could easily put a whole bunch of Yankees on here, but I'm trying to be objective as well to say that let's see where they, where they actually lie when trying to be objective. So Ty France is my guy for first base.
And Ty France is going to make it. Luis Ariz, who we saw this week for the Twins, I think in last night's game, Ruka was mentioning he leads the league in on-base percentage and batting average. Like, he also deserves to be there. And he's on the first base ballot. So, like, clearly vote for him as well. I like watching Vlad Jr. So, second base was tough for me because nobody was really a standout. And Andres Jimenez, this is where I did just take the best stats. He's played two-thirds. He's 2/3 of his games at second base, and he has really good stats. I couldn't make the case for Gleyber Torres. DJ isn't even listed on the second base ballot. He's listed at third base. And there's no way in hell am I voting for Jose Altuve.
Okay. Again, being objective, I'm trying to take emotions out of this for doing this. I did vote for Altuve. Altuve's having a very good season. So, yeah, Altuve's
Logan, I see you nodding your head in agreement with me. Where do you stand on voting for the All-Star team? Are you just like stats driven, or is it also like, who are the players I like and want to see?
Honestly, I kind of agree with you both because I want to vote for who I want to see, and I trust that the league is going to figure out who is actually supposed to be there also. I mean, but that's not saying that there isn't snubs every year because there are, but like, I don't want to see Ty France starting the All-Star game. Have Ty France come in the fifth inning because he deserves to be there. But I also don't want to see him start because, like, okay, so you're going to bat him ninth because he's, like, the least appealing guy? Like,
because he's Ty freaking France.
I don't know.
Look, I understand what you guys are saying, and I to an extent agree. I took this ballot for this exercise, and I'm giving it to people who I think deserve it based on certain things, and I will use a tiebreaker for that reason. That said, if people are not voting for Ty France because he deserves it and for that reason, then he's not even going to make the team. So he needs
he'll be a pick. He'll be added by coaches.
But that's the thing. Like, people need to show him love for the good season.
Let the Mariners fans vote for Ty France.
And
then it's a popularity contest based on your fan base. And that's when you see a whole bunch of Dodgers
We
get
saw
voted
that.
in.
We saw that when the freaking Royals had like 7 starters.
Yeah, I know. It's stupid.
I might add that I am a little bit biased where if I'm a little bit like I definitely voted for Rizzo because I trust in the Yankee fan base that there's going to be a lot of Yankee fans that vote for Rizzo. And the Yankees have the biggest fan base. So he might get, you know what I mean? Like, I do vote a little bit biasly.
Yeah, if Rizzo hadn't been in like a pretty awful slump for like 4 straight weeks, then I would have definitely voted for Rizzo because he had a really hot start to the season. He has 14 home runs. But, and if Rizzo gets hot this next month and he makes the All-Star team, then boom, love it. But
do I think that Ty France is going to be the guy voted in? No, I do not think that. I think it's going to be either Rizzo or it's going to probably be Vlad Jr.
It's like you voting for the independent candidate.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
For the
my vote is worthless.
Shortstop. I saw this as a toss-up between Tim Anderson and Xander Bogaerts. I know Bogarts is a Red Sox. I don't hate Bogarts by any means. I also don't hate Tim Anderson, despite the beef that we just had with him. So legitimately, flip a coin. I just think it's pretty ironic that the big shortstop free agents, Correa and Seager, they're not going to be there.
So I put in some numbers. I screenshotted a Baseball Reference in here as well, because it was interesting to see the guy that actually replaced Correa in Houston. He's a rookie. Pena is having a damn good year. Yeah. This kid is having a damn good year. And actually, he's got the highest WAR of the leaders here with a 2.8 WAR, because he's by far the best defender of the group. So I thought that was interesting. Do I think he's going to get voted in? No, he's a rookie. I do take that into consideration as well, by the way. Where are you in your career? If you're a rookie,
won't vote for a rookie?
If you're a rookie and it's close and there's a veteran guy there, I will lean to the veteran guy, because of you have the ability to get voted in more. So if I'm picking one person here, I am picking Tim Anderson. I don't dislike Tim Anderson. I like his enthusiasm. I like the way that he plays the game. So I really don't have much of a problem with him, to be honest. Like I like that when guys wear their emotions on their sleeves. It's fun. It's fun to see, and I like competing against those guys too. Get to be going. So Tim Anderson's the guy. I put an honorable mention in here because I think the numbers are very close, but J.P. Crawford out in Seattle, I don't like Seattle. I don't know why I keep voting for these Seattle Mariners, but J.P. Crawford's having a damn good year. He's having a damn good year out there at short as well.
I voted for Bogarts, but again, I saw it as a toss-up. Third base, I voted for Jose Ramirez. He, through April, was the best hitter in the league and is still one of the best top 3 or 4 hitters in the American League. Easy.
Still my guy. Still want him on this team. Still, of course, I voted for Jose Ramirez. He's top 3 baseball player on the planet.
Outfielder number 1, obviously Aaron Judge. He's been the best hitter in the league this year, 202 OPS plus. I think Judge is going to lead the American League in votes, no question.
I do too, unless Ohtani, you're saying for the position.
No, I think he's going to get the most votes out of anybody in the American League. Maybe in baseball, Judge. I think because he's having such a good year, Yankees fans are going to show up. Everyone's going to be voting for Judge.
I got to say, Yankees fans traditionally don't.
They don't. You're right.
They don't show up.
The smaller fan bases. That's why Ty France
and the Dodgers have a massive digital presence, like a massive digital presence.
Yeah, they're doing something shady behind the scenes.
Probably.
They got bots. They got bots overseas voting.
So let's talk about the 3 outfielders that you just go.
Yeah, I voted Judge, Trout, because obviously it's Mike Trout, and I voted Taylor Ward. And this might be counterintuitive to what I said earlier, or Taylor Ward, not Tyler. Taylor Ward, because he was on the IL when the Yankees were he was on the IL. Yeah,
he played a couple of games, I think.
Oh, he's currently on the IL then.
He's currently on the IL. Yeah.
Why did I think he was hurt?
He's been back and forth.
Yeah, when I talked to Jared from Talking Halos, he was talking about how Ward was hurt.
He's on my fantasy team. I know all about this guy.
Ward has had a fantastic season, and there was no other outfielder standout. I like Max Kepler as a player as well. I think he's a good, solid player. I was looking at some of Max Kepler's stats. Walk and strikeout percentage actually very, very good. I think he's got a 12% walk percentage and a 15% strikeout.
So I actually changed my answer. I did not have Ward in. I actually went back when I was looking at Baseball Reference and comparing the guys. I put him in because, he's been extremely productive, even for missing time here. When you look at overall numbers, another guy who's been very productive, who probably doesn't, is Stanton. Stanton's been very productive with where he's been here. He's been, one of the more highly productive guys, in the fact that he's playing the outfield. So I could see him potentially getting in there. And then the other 2 guys that I'm giving some honorable mention shout outs to is Austin Hayes with the Orioles. He's having a damn good year. And I think that fan base needs another guy that they can really look to and see. And I think he's a very good player. He really is. And he's definitely ascending. And then Byron Buxton has all the talent in the world, could be the best player in baseball if he stays healthy and stayed a little bit more consistent, but damn, he's good. And he's, again, been very productive as well. I think he's got 14. Well, after last night, did he hit one? Yeah, 15 knocks. So he's been very productive with the Twins, and I could see any of those guys making it.
I voted Ohtani for designated hitter. Again, star factor. I know Alvarez is having a monster season, but I don't want to see Yordan Alvarez as the DH. I want to see Shohei Ohtani as the DH.
Alvarez is having a monster year.
Monster
Yep.
year. Great.
Monster
Don't care.
year.
Don't care.
So he's by far the chalk leader to get that nod. So I have him.
But
in there.
Ohtani's going to get more votes than him, no question.
Oh, Ohtani's going to be. That's where I disagree with you. I don't think Judge is going to be the most. I think Ohtani's going to be the most, just because of
maybe
because of the the mythical creature that he is.
Okay, fine. And then we can't vote for pitchers, which we were talking before the recording is stupid. At least let us vote for starting pitchers, and maybe the guy with the most votes can start the All-Star or be in consideration to start the All-Star game.
Yeah.
I understand that it all depends on when the pitchers are.
But let us
lining
vote
up.
for the guys we want. I just contradicted myself. Let us vote for the guys who deserve it.
Let us vote for the guys I want to see pitch, not the guys who deserve it.
Let me vote for Nestor, goddammit.
But Nestor does deserve it. So guys on the Yankees, at least, that I could see making it are Cole and Nestor from the rotation. So Garrett Cole, these numbers I pulled prior to last night. I think he was 6th in the American League in WAR at 1.9, over 11 strikeouts per 9 innings, 2.78. His ERA is probably over 3 at this point. Nestor Cortez was after his most recent start, so after his bad start. Sub 2 ERA still at 1.96 and has produced 1.7 WAR. Both of those starting pitchers, out of the 5 Yankee starting pitchers, deserve to be there, even though Monty and Taillon have had really good seasons as well.
So has Severino. Severino's had a damn good year too.
Yeah, he didn't show up even in the top 20 in the American League, though.
Still having a good year. I'm just saying it.
I don't. So Clay Holmes and Michael King both deserve to be on the All-Star team.
Yes,
I don't think they'll both make it, but they've been the two most. Number 1 is Michael King, and number 2 is Clay Holmes. Valuable relievers in the American League. King at 1.4 WAR, Clay Holmes at 0.9 WAR. Maybe he's at 1 now after the save last night. They've been the 2 most valuable relievers in the league. They deserve to both be there.
They do. And I could see a world where they're both there, but they absolutely do. Holmes definitely makes it. No doubt about it.
Because of the saves.
Yeah. And I mean, King's definitely been the talk of the league in the bullpen, I'd say. Probably inside baseball as well. He's become a freak. So I see him making it. And then, yeah, you go to the rotation, you could pick a guy. They all deserve it if you want to, but it's going to be Cole and Nestor making it. And I wish we could vote for Nestor. Well, I want to vote for Nestor, and I want to vote for Trevino. I want to vote for the 2 guys that look like me.
the starting pitching, the pitchers don't get picked until much later, and I think a lot can change because, like, if Nestor goes into a little bit of a tailspin, he's not going to make it. And Cole, even after last night, his numbers are still really good.
Cole's going to make it.
Cole backs up with 3 more good starts before the All-Star game. He might start the All-Star game. So a lot.
It would be a travesty. It would be a travesty if Nestor Cortez, even if you put a couple mediocre starts in, wouldn't make it, because he's been. You could argue right now that he would start the game. You could argue that.
Yes, unironically,
very easily
if the game was next week, Nestor Cortez could absolutely be the starting pitcher. That's how good he's been. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm not going to let 3 starts dictate that exactly, but yeah, he's especially if we can't vote on it. Nestor's he's also a damn good story for the All-Star game. That's the other thing that the All-Star game does well, is they're able to highlight people and highlight their stories and bring to light who they are so that they can be shot into that fandom mega highlight guys that you want to watch type. It does have that ability to change the trajectory of the popularity of a fan or of a player.
All right, those are our All-Star ballots. We're not going to do the National League. We're American League. I don't know.
Who cares about the National League?
Whatever happens in the National League. We'll worry about it for potentially World Series. Anything else you want to talk about before we wrap up?
Again, just reiterating the fact that this team is fun to watch even when they're not going right, and they pick each other up. I love it. I absolutely love it. I think it's one of the best qualities. And the point I was going to make is if you look across, this team is built well. It's complementary. They help each other out. You don't have all-stars at every position. In fact, you could argue that there's only one starting all-star on this team right now. And if that's the case, my God, are they playing well? And doesn't that just show you how you don't need to build a successful baseball team with all-stars at every position? No, you need complementary guys. You need a puzzle, pieces that fit together nicely. That's what you need. And that's what we've been screaming for the past 4 or 5 years, 6 years. I don't need an all-star at every position. I don't need a catcher that has the potential to hit 50 home runs. I just need a guy who can play defense, not let a run across the plate in an 8th inning when there's a guy on 3rd, and allow my pitcher to be the guy that he is. That's it. That's all I need. I need that. Play some defense, hit the ball enough, and pitch well. And that's what this team does. So I hope everybody sees that and doesn't always pine for the all-star at every position, because it drives me nuts.
Well said. All right, that's going to wrap it up. Mailbags, voicemail, yada, 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 ratings and reviews. We'll talk to you on Monday.